Hey guys, I'm going to try to make a quick video before the sky opens up on me, so this could get cut short at any moment. But I wanted to chat a little bit about whenever you corner your narcissistic ex and you think that you have them over a barrel or you think you have a checkmate. And one of the problems with this is that we can get ourselves into this false sense of security that we got them, that we figured it out, that we got all of our pieces lined up and we have a checkmate against them and they are just going to wither in the corner and scurry away and hide. Now, there are some situations where that actually can be true. If they are really worried about being exposed, sometimes a toxic narcissistic ex will do just that. They will back off, they will want to settle before a report comes out or before something comes out to really expose who they are so that they can have that plausible deniability that they're still the victim and there's no documentation or no real culpability for what they've done. However, most of the time, or a lot of the times, they will come and attack like a cornered animal. And it's really important to know this and to anticipate it so that you're not blindsided by it. One of the things that can happen is you could think that you've won, you have this, you just have this euphoria that, you're going to checkmate them like I was talking about. And then you walk into court and you get blindsided, or you get CPS reports against you, or something else happens that completely blows your mind. One of the things that you have to remember about people like this is they do not have a moral compass and they do not have any remorse or regrets about doing something that might be just a little unethical. That's why false allegations are so prevalent in these situations, because they can look at it and say, well, if I accuse the other person of abuse or neglect, then maybe I can win. Now, just one caveat I want to put on this, because oftentimes people think that this is the realm, or the target of this type of behavior is the male or the father. And although there's a lot of evidence that does happen a lot, it's not just guys. This has happened to mothers as well. If you think that everything is okay and you're not anticipating the creativity and just pure evil of your narcissistic ex, you can be completely blindsided by it. So you have to keep your guard up and you have to keep your eyes open on what's going on so that you can adapt as required. The main thing I want you to understand on this is that if you're rolling into I didn't realize that kind of caught me off guard. The main thing I want you to realize is that if you're going into this situation, to not be overconfident in what the situation is and what's going on, right? What I mean is going in and saying, okay, I've got all my documentation lined up. I got everything in there that is going to prove that they are this certain way. And I mean, I've even seen it where evaluators seem to be on the side of the parent who's, on our side, I guess, so to speak. And they go to court and they walked out just completely flabbergasted. I'm not saying this to try to scare you. I'm not saying this to try to have you feel like everything's lost. What I want you to do is I want you to understand there are multiple levels of complexity to this. And for the most part, every time I've seen somebody who feels really great about cornering their ex, they walk into the next mediation situation or the next lawyer conference or the next court date, and they walk out with it not going the way they anticipated. Part of this is having unrealistic expectations of what you think is going to happen. So that's a huge thing right off the bat. But the second part about that is understanding what exactly is a victory and what isn't. And the thing with that, what I just want to just kind of clarify is, oftentimes whenever you go in and you know what you want, or you kind of know the ballpark of what you're going for, and then you get this blindsided event that happens and you walk out and effectively you still basically won, but because you've just been run through the fire of hell, you don't feel like it. I know I've mentioned this before where in my situation I did actually really well, but when it was over, I didn't feel like I won. I didn't feel like, not that anyone really wins in this, but I didn't feel like I had achieved the victory, so to speak, that I had hoped for. It still felt hollow, and the ex was pretty angry and did everything in her power to make things as complicated as possible. That rolls into the next thing. And this is when I talk about choosing your battles of what you're doing, because oftentimes when you have a victory with your ex, it infuriates them, and they're like a Terminator. They won't stop trying to mess with you. Now realistically, they're going to continue to do that kind of crap anyways. It's just part of the game that they play. But what I mean by that is you have to be really careful about what you choose to fight for, right? That's where that's where I've really kind of calmed down on some of the things that I would fight for, because there's always a cost. There's either a cost to you, there's a cost to your kids, there's a cost in some way they are going to lash out, and you have to be prepared for that. So I think the underlying message of this video, what I'm trying to get out there, is just don't underestimate the ruthlessness, the pure evil intent that your ex can do. Focus on what you really need to do. Focus on what you want to fight for. Focus on what you're really going for, and keep that as your goal. Keep that as your baseline. Everything else is really irrelevant. It kind of rolls back into that hybrid no contact thing, and absolute thinking. And I'll put a link to a playlist with that in there, just so that you got to keep everything in perspective. And as I'm saying this, it's actually starting to sprinkle more on me. So I think I'm going to have to wrap this video up. I hope this was helpful. I hope that you can just keep your eyes open on what's going on, so that you're not blindsided. I don't want you guys to walk in. I've seen it so many times where people think that they have, and I just messed my thought up there, but I've seen so many times where people have a really great plan, and they walk in thinking that they've checkmated their ex, and then they walk out like, what the hell happened? And sometimes you still really won, but it just doesn't feel like it, because you didn't even anticipate the level of just chaos that your ex could do. So before I do wrap this up, one thing I want to say is I'd like to get some feedback from you guys on how I'm trying to shoot some of these videos. Obviously the last few I've been doing outside, I've been trying some different things. I'm very curious on what you think about it, whether it's worth it, whether it's worth it to be outside getting rained on, but damn, it's pretty out right now. Yeah, so leave your feedback in the comments below. I'd really love to hear what you think. If you are new to this channel and you think that it can be helpful for you and you find value in it, please consider hitting the subscribe button and ringing the bell notification so that YouTube will tell you about videos. And I will chat with you on the next video. Take care.